The fight of the century happened yesterday. Well, at least in regards to pre-fight hype. And did it live up to expectations? Let me tell you what, guys. Absolutely not. That shit was total ass, bro. For a very brief period of time, I managed to catch it. The entire fight was up over on X. I don't know. I'm sure if you type in, a couple of different hashtags, you might be able to find it. But I watched it, and from both sides, okay? I don't want on both sides this, but footwork was terrible. The game plans were awful, non-existent. Logan Paul did end up slowing up. Like, the fight only went 6 rounds before it got called on disqualification. I think, there were some other strings being pulled behind the scenes that ended up getting it reversed or getting it switched to, oh, Dillon actually quit, so you know what, some people ended up getting paid off. But for the fact that nobody ended up getting drug tested beforehand, that's what Dillon's sticking to, and Logan Paul is just continuing to perpetuate the very real fact that this was pro wrestling the entire way down, and that totally diminishes all the good work that Dillon Danis did. But I think we all should have kind of realized that it was going to be a work. I just didn't anticipate, once it ended up hitting the ring, that it would just be such a clown show. From Dillon deciding to just drop down into guard and people accurately memeing it as, okay, he's assuming the Nina Agdal position. Very, very funny. To Dillon trying to throw a back fist, and Logan, instead of capitalizing on that really whack-ass attack, just decides to laugh it off. It's like, bro, we know that you can't box. It was very apparent what you were inside the ring, and if you're going to ultimately take a step back from boxing and you just want to use this to parlay into doing more stuff with WWE, it's like, it was so obvious, okay? It was so obvious. Dillon, every single time he was in front of the camera, and I know that I pointed this out multiple times, he's always wearing WWE Fed merch, okay? Whether it was the Rock shirt that he showed up to the arena in, every time he was in front of the camera, it was an Eddie Guerrero shirt, Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt. It was always, every single time. Even do it like they even did the DX crotch chop in the ring. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Boxing is legitimate, but I think this is probably the point in time. I know a lot of people have called this beforehand, but when it comes to influencer boxing, I think this is the point where it just jumps the shark. Logan didn't have a good showing. KSI lost his fight. I think it's done. Like, it's been done for a while, but this right here is just, yeah, you boys up there at the top might as well pivot off to WWE. It was so obvious that I think Logan was using this as a launching pad, because in his his post-fight press conference inside the ring, he calls out Rey Mysterio for the U.S. Championship. Like, bruh, I like wrestling, not Fed wrestling, but that is so fucking cringe. Okay, you've got a part-time contract with the Fed. You just came off a shoot fight, and then you want to use it to work an angle for a smaller audience? Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's all very, very weird, but we'll get into some of the more important politicking points, because I think this is going to have bigger repercussions for different areas that might not be obvious, at least right now. Logan Paul beats in big old quotation marks Dillon Danis with a mass brawl breaking out in the ring after the MMA star tried to tackle him to the ground before security guards swarm him in the ring in a chaotic scene. It's not quite accurate, okay, because we got the Nelk boys that are out here, and they're also showing some stuff as well. Okay, so they got a clip of the aftermath. It's unfortunate because I did want to show, but the only thing that I could get was the official feed that was out there in a couple of different ways. I don't know if it's copywritten or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and, play the end of the fight here. So this is in round 6, and at least, because that's another thing that I noticed about Jake Paul throughout the fight. Couldn't even hold his hands up. So during that face-off when Dillon was like, we can see the size of your arms, pause, you're definitely going to gas, and what ends up happening? The motherfucker gassed in the ring. It's 1000% what ended up happening. So he's just, with gaped mouth. I think we know where he learned that technique from. So Dillon didn't end up taking the fight seriously throughout the entirety of the fight. So right towards the end, I think this was right right at the end of the fight, but just look at the sponsorships that are on there. Oh my god, like you got boxing, okay, legit, and then you got steak, which is propping up stupid ass, Kick with their hate speech rules that are on there, and Kick, obviously, right there. And then you got an OnlyFans alternative. It's like just, oh god, fucking Kick and IRL streamers are just so degenerate, but that's another topic for another time. But here's the end of the fight, okay? So yeah, you got Dillon at least trying to engage right there, and then okay, so Dillon shoots in for a guillotine choke, which is what ends up happening because, well, at least from this angle, like, you can see Logan Paul wants absolutely nothing to do with Dillon, and he's like, okay, fine, fuck it. And then when he's on the ground, that's a little bit of a cheap shot, but I do also understand, everything was totally and 100% unsportsmanlike once he did shoot for a guillotine. So Logan, to his credit, does have the leeway to go in, to try to clean his clock while he's on the ground. At that point in time, the entire fight had been a fucking circus. So what precipitated that afterwards is like, okay, so he goes after him in the aftermath, and then the ring starts to fill up with a whole bunch of security guards, and like, it was just an entire show, man. It was like, what are they going to announce? The rematch is going to be in a fucking solid steel cage. Okay, brother, we're going to have a bunch of different enforcers on the outside to make sure that it's going to be legit down the middle, brother. Like, holy fuck, bro. And then for Logan to even champion that, it should have just been a good fight. Yeah, it got a little bit out of control, but for him to try to say that, this was anything like a big W is just as bad as Dillon, kind of belly aching off of this, okay? I think Dillon perfectly embodies the problem of society. All shit talk behind the screen, no action, just another peasant running his mouth, contributing nothing to the world but negativity, says the guy who filmed somebody hanging in a forest. So happy I got to expose this clown. And then, Dillon, what did you prove? You didn't even tickle me. Yeah, like, Dillon, to his credit, had some good defense. He was trying Philly shell. He obviously had his hands up multiple times, trying to bait him in to throw a punch, only for it to be deflected. I would love to see the official stats breakdown for like significant punches landed. Like, the only thing that Logan was effectively landing were a couple of combinations just to the body. Like, the body shots, they looked like they had some power behind them, but outside of the one still frame that he caught right there, there wasn't too many shots that landed on his face. So yeah, what did you prove? Not much. You backed out of an MMA fight against me, and here comes all the coping, which we gotta go ahead. For as much gas as I've given Dillon over the past couple of months for the good stuff that he's done, he ends up with his performance in the ring completely and totally undoing it for a bunch of people that are out there, especially the people that are like, you know what, Logan, you really showed a good fight. And it's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Everyone knew I'm not a boxer, and unlike others, I took the challenge even with everything in your favor, weight, steroids. Yeah, there was some funny shit going into this fight in regards to weight limits, and Logan may or may not have hit the weight limits. And yeah, there was a bunch of fucking goofy stuff. I was going to do a video beforehand, but then, Israel had to go do their fucking goofy shit as well. But yeah, rounds, rules, judges, referees, nothing was ever finalized until it was finalized on the fly. So yeah, Dillon did end up winning the war, and this might end up being a fight that goes on for a very long time. But for that one fight, Logan, officially wins, but he didn't really prove all that much. Logan's fight with Dillon Danis descended into chaos after the MMA star tried to take his opponent down with a jiu-jitsu move in the final round of their bout in Manchester on Saturday night. Security was forced to swarm the ring, to separate the two fighters. That's what we seen from a specific angle. With Paul's corner taking to the canvas to defend the fighter, Danis' team joined them in the ring after the mass brawl broke out. Security dragged both fighters back to the corners. The sea of bodyguards between them. Danis was heard shouting, "Face me in jiu-jitsu fight," while the arena blared out, "I predict a riot." Oh my god. Yeah, again, just a total fucking clown show going on. Once things settled down, Michael Buffer announced that Paul had won the bout via disqualification. Danis was less than impressed, shaking his head before storming out of the ring. Yeah, it's kind of fucking strange as to why he would be the one who ended up getting disqualified. Like, obviously, okay, he did grab for the guillotine. I understand that, but also Logan, throwing the punch on the ground might end up getting overturned to a no decision, or like I've seen other reports of it being turned into a TKO because Dillon ended up forfeiting at the end. It's like, it's so fucking stupid. Losing was not an option for Logan Paul. Yeah, he was up against the wall. Not after the emotional turmoil Dillon Danis had inflicted on his fiancée Nina Agdal in the build-up to the highly anticipated fight. Yeah, there it is, a couple of different ways, and there you can see the official scenes from the fight right there. You can see the anger and hatred in Paul's eyes as they made their way to the ring. Oh yeah, he looks very, very aggressive in the lead up to all that shit, but realistically, man, does it even matter? Because, okay, yeah, everybody's going to get paid off their fights and everybody's going to spin out and do something else, but there's still the whole matter of the legal side of this shit, where this could get very, very, very interesting. And because Dillon ended up pulling himself as a clown inside the ring, I'm not saying it wasn't justified for the amount of fuckery that was going on outside of the ring prior to the fight itself, but he ended up costing himself a bunch of supporters, a bunch of Fairweather supporters. I, for one, appreciate the good work that he did by exposing this 304 and then just also red-pilling a bunch of other people. Even if that wasn't his expressed purpose, he ended up doing that incidentally, and for that, very thankful that he did that, because he just saved a bunch of people a lot of heartache by putting on a cape and trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. You don't need to do that, okay? These bitches decided that the life of the streets is for them, so let them belong to those streets. But we still have that federal lawsuit to deal with. Dillon Danis mocks Nina Agdal's lawsuit against him, jokingly billing it as his next fight after the defeat to her fiancé. Defeat in heavy quotations. Logan Paul, next up, the trial of the century, Danis versus Agdal. Yeah, I'd love to see how this one's going to play out, because she didn't look too emotionally stressed as she was walking Logan to the ring. Strange. Needs a restraining order against Dillon Danis when he's going to be right there. Anyways, Danis mocked Agdal's lawsuit against him following his defeat to her fiancé Saturday night. Following weeks of build-up, Danis lost the highly anticipated bout between Paul via disqualification after he attempted to bring his opponent down with a jiu-jitsu move. However, the MMA fighter still has a battle on his hands in the court rather than in the ring. Danis has launched a series of personal attacks on the Danish model, continued to do so all the way up until about fight week, about weigh-in day, so about Friday and Saturday. I think he took a little bit of a break, but he's posted a couple more memes in the interim, so I've seen his despicable trolling. Despicable or honest? Simply holding a mirror up to Nina. She didn't like what she's seen, and like any good chick, she skirts responsibility and decides to involve the legal department, which, told you before, is a giant red flag. But Logan's not going to learn. He's not going to learn, man. Which was granted by a judge last month. Yeah, the restraining order and all that shit as well. Yeah, up next, trial of the century, Danis versus Agdal. Danis hasn't taken the legal action against him seriously. Yeah, continue to poke fun at the lawsuit. Next up, trial of the century. Amid his trolling, Danis has repeatedly threatened to share more explicit photos of her that could damage Agdal's reputation. I just got another absolute nuke of a pic, Nina. This one might be worse than the other one. Oh wow, girl, this is actually wild. He posted in August. Yeah, a bunch of other people have been party to said picture, not knowing exactly what it is. Heard some rumors, credible rumors as to what it is specifically, and yeah, it seems pretty bad. But obviously, none of that is going to dissuade this fucking blue-pilled potential billionaire, because this dumbass motherfucker wants to knock up that 304. What the fuck, man? You can't save the people that don't want to be saved. They just have to fucking learn that lesson the hard way. Why on earth? Okay? Like, a lot of people have asked this question, and it's like, Logan Paul is the last person to figure out that he's fucking Logan Paul. Like, the dude can go out there and print money in several different vocations. Prime Energy Drink is a $1 billion business. Okay, you just don't fuck that up, and that thing's just gonna print money in perpetuity. His Fed run with the WWE, that's good. That has the prospects of being a very, very, very successful long-term endeavor, even if you're just part-time. He's 29 right now. He can do that for another, 20 years, for Christ's sakes, because it's not like WWE's going anywhere. So why on earth would you lock yourself down to such a quarrelsome woman? My idea, I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, but it kind of does make sense. Because Logan Paul got his money so quickly, and he got his fame and clout so young, he's just grown up and become a man, sort of, you know, and go ahead and apply that label liberally. All he knows is clout. That's why, you know, he could only see himself with another chick on his same level, just diving into that societal bullshit that you need to build together. You need to have a girl that's on your same level. It's absolute dog shit. He could go out there and have a fucking 18-year-old Nina Agdal prior to her whoring around. But no. He wants the clout of having a Sports Illustrated model. He wants the clout of having a girl that was out there that was desired by the world, but he was the one who locked her down after she had been through a Rolodex of Hollywood's top 200. Like, he doesn't see any of this stuff. Nina Agdal laughs, and this is another bad thing. Like, holy fuck, for as many red flags as we've seen from the different interviews, for the fact that she took the initiative because Logan couldn't adequately defend her in the social media sphere when Dillon was full court press attacking her, she decided to go through the court system in order to exact retribution. She laughs when Logan Paul declares he wants to talk about having that baby soon in victory speech after judges disqualify Dillon Danis. Like, this dude, he cannot be helped, man. He's gonna be making some of the dumbest decisions in his life, and I think probably the worst one, and the one that probably isn't going to be talked about, this dumb motherfucker, right? She's already a fiance. Do you think, with all this fucking simping that's going on right there, okay, we talk about having that baby, okay, I'm out there, okay, I'm professing my love, and she's, no, I don't want to ruin my body for my, you know, next husband, not for my, I'm not going to ruin it for my future ex-husband, fuck no, I just want to secure the bag and get the fuck out of there, okay. She has him wrapped around her finger. I think that's fairly obvious. Do you think there's going to be a prenup in place? Yeah, I don't think so. So I'll be paying attention, seeing the progression on that lawsuit, and yeah, it's probably not going to be all that exciting because her case is, well, just about as weak as her veneer of actually liking Logan Paul. So once it does, you know, head closer to trial, I'd anticipate it either gets dropped just for the fact that they want to, Paul and Nina just want to move on from this situation and put Dillon in the past where he belongs. Or it'll just get dismissed by the higher court, giving Dillon a little bit more gas, and he'll go off and he'll go troll his next opponent to a, you know, lesser degree of success. But the way that everybody's seeing this is, oh man, oh, you see this guy? Oh my god, he defended the honor of his 304, or yeah, his 304, and with, you know, all these simps that look up to this guy, it's like, this is, in the long-term scheme, or the long-term projections, this is about the worst outcome. If Dillon would have just put up a modicum of offense, a serious offense, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Logan would look like an asshole, even if he managed to just squeak out a victory. But now he gets to prove his valor because, oh, he didn't have to sink down to the desperate attacks of a weaker man. Everybody can just go ahead and golf clap for him. That's all the fair weather, guys. Everybody else who knows what's up, yeah. Dillon did a great service. It's unfortunate he had to go out like that. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.